If you haven't heard of Righthaven, it's largely because their lawsuits have mainly targeted small potatoes, bloggers, nonprofits. The one major exception to that was the Drudge Report, which was one of more than 30 websites that Righthaven sued for the use of a Denver Post photograph. Now, I would be glad to show you that photograph. I just don't want to be added to the list of people being sued. But what I can do is demonstrate for you. Now, what the picture showed was a TSA agent crouched in front of an airline passenger, examining him with one hand up on his hip and the other hand way up between his legs.
Don't touch my junk, man.
Awkward. According to the Huffington Post, the photo was published by the Post, that being the Denver Post, and was distributed to media outlets by the AP. The picture was widely used to illustrate the debate about security protocols at airports. In other words, the picture was already all over the internet. Nevertheless, Matt Drudge settled out of court. You know, it wasn't the Drudge case that got Righthaven in the public doghouse. It was a lawsuit against a cat blogger. That's right. Allegra Wong of Boston had a little website called City Felines Blog. She wrote a non-commercial blog about cats and animals. Perfectly legal. Well, until she posted a story about how some birds were killed in a fire. She should have stuck with cats, Max. Because that was a story that had been published originally by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, and Righthaven claimed that they owned the copyright to that story. Now, rather than pause to warn Miss Wong to take the story down, Righthaven skipped right to the part where they sue. Now, according to the Las Vegas Sun, Righthaven typically, in these cases, demands damages of $75,000 and forfeiture of their website name. Now, Ms. Wong, who was in her late 50s and was unemployed at the time, wrote a letter to the court describing how she's non-profit and she just writes her thoughts about cats. In a letter to the court, she said her story about the fire gave full credit to the Review-Journal and that she also provided a link, and that she removed it all after learning she was being sued. They eventually settled out of court, which was what happened with many of Righthaven's cases early on, but then some of the defendants began getting legal advice and fighting back. First, some cases were thrown out over fair use. Basically, fair use is just one huge gray area. Nevertheless, it was used successfully as a defense against Righthaven. Some defendants were also able to show that Righthaven didn't even actually own the copyrights over which they were suing. That got a lot of the cases, including the one with the photo of the TSA agent thrown out, even though many of those cases had already been settled out of court. More recently, a federal court in Las Vegas ordered U.S. Marshals to seize $63,000 in Righthaven assets for a settlement. In boxing terms, Righthaven is on the ropes and is, boom, possibly going to wake up with a crowd around them. Now, don't take all of this as a diatribe against copyright protection. Copyright protection is a good thing. If you accessed this video on our website, questionablethings.com, you probably read the article leading into the video, which mentioned the Stop Online Piracy Act, SOPA. The ACLU had a wonderful quote about SOPA. Copyright protection is absolutely vital to free speech in that it encourages innovations and assures creators that their work will be protected. However, it is extremely important that such protection remains consistent with constitutional principles and only impacts those who illegally use protected content. Now, you want to keep things in perspective. Congressman Lamar Smith is the lead sponsor of SOPA, which the ACLU warns is, quote, severely flawed, unquote. Now, this is Congressman Smith's own website, complete with a front page embedded link to a video done by a local television station and uploaded to YouTube.
right now, there shouldn't be a legal problem with that. Under Smith's own legislation, however, SOPA, it might not be so cut and dried. Irony, anyone?